This looks like it's just one chapter. It's called Bel and the Dragon. I remember reading this story long ago. This is what it says. In addition to the Greek text of the book of Daniel, it comprises two popular tales. Both are designed to ridicule the folly of the idolatry and discredit the heathen priestcraft. The first story tells of the great statue of Bel, the patron deity of Babylon, which every night devours huge quantities of food and drink and thus proves itself to be a living god. By clever detective work, Daniel unmasks the chicanery of Bel's priests. The second story tells of Daniel's refusal to worship the monstrous dragon as a god and his killing it with a ridiculous concoction of pitch and fat and hair. The Babylonians, enraged by the death of their god, demand that Daniel be thrown into the lion's den. He is kept safe among the lions for 6 days. He is provided with food from Judea by the prophet Habakkuk. On the seventh day, the king removes Daniel and throws into the den of his enemies. Removes Daniel and throws into the den his enemies. I guess Daniel's enemies, who are immediately devoured. The religious teachings of these stories are bizarre and fantastic as they appear to us today, in that those who worship the true and living God will be sustained in every kind of trial. In the Greek manuscripts, Daniel, the account of Bel the dragon, is added at the close of chapter 12 in Daniel. In the Latin Vulgate, it forms chapter 14, with the story of Susanna being chapter 13. Concerning date in original language, see the first part of the introduction of the prayer of Azariah. Okay, and the Song of Three Men. So, this is Bel and the Dragon. When King Astyages, I've never seen that word before, it's Astyages, was laid with his father, Cyrus the Persian received his kingdom. And Daniel was a companion of the king and was most honored of his friends. Now the Babylonians had an idol called Bel, B-E-L, and every day they spent on it 12 bushels of fine flour, 40 sheep, 50 gallons of wine. The king revered it and went every day to worship it. But Daniel worshipped his own God, and the king said to him, "Why do you not worship Bel?" And he answered, "Because I do not revere man-made idols, but the living God who has created heaven and earth and has dominion over all flesh." The king said to him, "Do you not think that Bel is a living God? Do you not see how much he eats and drinks every day?" Then Daniel laughed and said, "Do not be deceived, O king. This is but a clay. It's inside is brass outside. It's never ate or drank anything." The king was angry, and he called his priests and said to them, "If you do not tell me who's eating all this food, you're going to die. But if you prove that Bel is eating it, Daniel's going to die, because he's blasphemed against Bel." And Daniel said to the king, "Let it be done as you said." Now there was 70 priests of Bel, besides their wives and children, and the kings went with Daniel into the temple of Bel. And the priests of Bel said, "Behold, we are going to go outside. You yourselves, O king, shall set forth the food, mix it, place the wine, shut the door, and seal it with your signet. And when you return in the morning, if you do not find that Bel has eaten it all, we will die, or else Daniel will die. Who is telling the lies about us?" They were unconcerned, for beneath the table they had made a hidden entrance, and though they used to go in regularly and consume the provisions. When they had gone out, the king set forth food for Bel. Daniel ordered his servants to bring the ashes, and they sifted through them throughout the whole temple in the presence of the king alone. And then, when they shut the door and sealed it with the king's signet, they departed. In the night, the priests came in with their wives and their children, and they consumed it, as they were accustomed to do. And they ate and drank everything. Early in the morning, the king arose and came, and Daniel with him. And the king said, "Are the seals unbroken, Daniel?" He answered, "They're unbroken." "O king, as soon as the doors were opened, the king looked at the table and shouted in a loud voice, You are great, O Bel, and with you there is no deceit, none at all. Then Daniel laughed and restrained the king from going in and said, Look at the floor. Notice whose footsteps are these. The king said, I see footsteps of men, women, and children. The king was enraged and then seized his priests and their wives and the children and then showed him the secret doors to which they were accustomed to enter and devour what was on the table. Therefore the king put them to death and gave Bel over to Daniel, who destroyed it and its temple. There was also a great dragon, which the Babylonians revered, and the king said to Daniel, You cannot deny that this is a living God, so worship him. Daniel said, I will worship the Lord my God, for he is the living God. But you, O king, if will give me permission, I will slay the dragon without sword or club. The king said, I will give you permission. Then Daniel took pitch, fat, and hair, boiled them together, made cakes, which he fed to the dragon. The dragon ate them and burst open. And Daniel said, See what you've been worshiping? When the Babylonians heard it, they were very indignant and conspired against the king, saying, The king has become a Jew. He has destroyed Bel. He has slain the dragon and slaughtered the priests. Going to the king, they said, Hand Daniel over to us, or else we're going to kill you and your household. And the king saw that they were pressing him hard, and under the compulsion, he handed Daniel over to them. They threw Daniel in the lion's den, and he was there for 6 days. There were 7 lions in the den, and every day they had been given 2 human bodies and 2 sheep. But these were not given to them now, so that they might devour Daniel. Now, the prophet Habakkuk was in Judea, and he had boiled pottage and broken bread into a bowl. He was going to go in the field to take it to the reapers. But the angel of the Lord said, Habakkuk, take the dinner which you have to Babylon, to Daniel. He's in the lion's den. And Habakkuk said, Sir, I've never even seen Babylon. I know nothing about that den. And the angel of the Lord took him by the crown of his head and lifted him up by his hair and set him down in Babylon, right over the den, with a rushing sound of a wind itself. Then Habakkuk shouted, Daniel, Daniel, here, take the dinner which God sent for you. And Daniel said, Oh, thou hast remembered me, O God, thou hast not forsaken those who love thee. So Daniel arose and he ate, and the angel of God immediately returned Habakkuk to his own place. And on the 7th day, the king came to mourn for Daniel. And when he came to the den, he looked in, and there sat Daniel. And the king was shouting with a loud voice, Thou art great, O Lord God of Daniel. There is no other besides thee. And he pulled Daniel out and threw into the den the men who had attempted his destruction, and they were devoured immediately before his eyes.